like the looser show.
It
really is.
The looser
The show after the show.
Closer to what goes on in the studio.
It could be dangerous because it's so loose.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we have a rundown of
That's
sorts.
right. So
first on the list.
Guys, the first one out of the gate, big news.
Yes.
Panda Cub has a baby name now.
The big news of the day, the National Zoo has announced the name of the Panda Cub. They announced it at 6:30 this morning. As you know, this is a tradition. They wait for 100 days, yes, to name the panda. It's Chinese tradition. And then what is the name of the new cub?
The name is Xiao Ji Chi, meaning Little Miracle.
Aww.
Yes.
That's appropriate. That was your favorite of the four names.
It was.
Right?
I was rooting for it. And Al, you were going for Happy and Prosperous because you wanted to live vicariously.
I wanted to be like that.
Yes.
So.
I wanted it to be Bobby Panda Pants.
And that was a close second.
That was, yeah, almost.
I spent my entire weekend voting for that name that I was going for.
The right end. I just think it's so sweet because DC, like for all the politics and the division and the bickering and all that we see like inside the Beltway, this baby panda monium always just captures everybody. I think it's really sweet.
It unites us on something.
Who could not like the baby panda?
You know, and scientists have explained why this is. It's because of the markings and everything. It just makes it look so cute.
Oh, see, I heard something different.
What did you hear?
I heard because the head is so big, like it makes it super duper cute.
Oh.
Like, and the same thing is true with babies. Yeah. And why? And that, what I heard, could not be all just bunk, but is that we just fall in love with them, and like that nurturing spirit, you know, comes around.
So.
I know, and we fall in love with them, and then 4 years later they have to leave us because of the U.S.-China agreement, and then they have to go back to China.
And then it's like we never ever. Tyshawn, can we just take a moment for Tyshawn? Like. Because he was the first, right?
Tyshawn was
of
first.
This grouping.
Tyshawn was first.
Of this group of the Meizhong Tian Tian.
Yes.
It
was Tyshawn.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Beibei Bao Bao, and now Xiao Ji Chi.
Yeah. Oh, you're good.
And then Tian Tian and Meizhong.
Yeah.
Wow, she knows her panda stuff.
And it's right here in DC.
Panda news correspondent.
Very good, very good.
All right, well, congratulations.
So yay, he's got a name.
The new panda.
He's over 10 pounds. He's getting to be a big old boy.
Yes.
Up next, this is only the third time this year I've been able to wear a burgundy and gold tie. I tend to wear it after the Washington football team has a win. They won yesterday. Now, before we get to the win, we have to acknowledge that the starting quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, went out with an ugly injury. Yeah, they say he looks like he tore his ACL. He is out for the year, for the rest of the year. That is unfortunate. You don't like to see that happen to any quarterback.
That's super duper painful, right? That ACL?
Oh, I'm sure. Well, he looked to be in great pain, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This did lead to the Washington football team getting themselves together for the second half, scoring some points, et cetera, and winning. They now have 3 wins on the season, and believe it or not, they are still in playoff contention because the NFC East is so bad.
That's confusing. That's confusing. So they could potentially, like, be in the Super Bowl, right?
They absolutely have a shot at the playoffs.
I love sports.
Yeah. However, the road is tough. They have to play. I think we play Seattle, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is undefeated.
Do you think we can take
on
the Cowboys?
Yeah, I do.
I do.
I'm going to say it's a win.
Let's go.
Although the Cowboys looked good yesterday, so we'll see.
I'm going to say it's a win, though. Congrats.
Well, speaking of the Washington football team, Miss Allison sat down with Rivera, Stephanie Rivera, right?
She is so great.
She is.
Because you're always kind of like nervous because there were a lot of, big news stories also around this team. And I wasn't going to get into any sort of, ugliness. I wanted to talk about like who Coach Rivera is, who they are as a couple, and of course who she is as a woman, as an athlete, as a former coach herself, and then as a wife. And what could be harder? Like, I would think the president of the United States, like that person's spouse, and like your football team, or in a town. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For like the criticism, everybody has an opinion on things, especially if the team isn't doing well, and then when they're doing, so
it's a lot.
It was just a real great, candid conversation. Of course, it was on Zoom, so there's that level of whatever, but we were going to do it in person. But she said just out of an abundance of caution, because Coach Rivera, is just getting through treatments and everything. And that immune system is just so important. And so when she said that, let's do it by Zoom, I was like, absolutely, because health is first. So, but she was a great interview. Annie, thank you, because I know you worked your Washington football team sources from your days with the organization.
You know, I have a special place in my heart for the Washington football team, and you know, Tony, I know you're a diehard as well. So it's like one of those things we were talking about earlier that. At the start of the season, we're like, yes, and we're all getting the gear out. I'm excited. I'm plopped in front of the television, and then. Yeah.
And
we know what happens.
We, you know, as the team's fortunes go, so do the fortunes of the fans. And we are, you know, that's what being a fan is. You're gung-ho, and, you know, it seems like, oh, we can do anything. And then after a couple of weeks of losing, it's like, we're terrible. Why are we so bad? And now we have a win over a bad football team. The Bengals aren't a great football team, particularly.
Super Bowl.
Yes, and
but
now
you
you're
know what? I will
Super
take
Bowl.
the position we are in right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to give a quick shout out to Allison, Elizabeth Fisher. We see you on Facebook.
Hey, I'm trying to get my
she is feeling
Facebook
very
together.
optimistic that we will beat Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Oh, good.
I
Excellent.
like
too.
that. I like that a
Yeah,
lot.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think so. Also, speaking of Thanksgiving, guys, I am getting my menu together. I'm not a very good.
Do you change up your menu?
Not really, but I'm not very good in the kitchen, and I know that about myself. So I'm just getting the pieces together, telling people what they need to bring. And when I say people, it's really my sister and and the company that we're having to order from. But anyway, I make one heck of a phone call order. So guys, what is your favorite Thanksgiving side dish?
Ooh, side dish.
Because I was thinking about this.
I have just a grouping, and I think that it's just so sentimental for me, right? So they're all just tied to things that I saw my grandmother make, then my mom made them, and then like now, especially my oldest daughter, Sydney, we just step back and let her do some of those traditional dishes, which of course include like the macaroni and cheese, the bake that we grew up with. And then we do something though that I bet a lot of people don't do, like an eggplant casserole type of thing. It's so good.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Of course, sweet potatoes, greens,
So
potatoes, potatoes.
You mentioned tradition.
Sorry, Tony, go ahead.
Sorry.
You mentioned tradition. And so my grandmother, who passed away several years ago, she would make macaroni and cheese, but instead of macaroni, she would use spaghetti noodles, and it was baked, and she would use, there would be cheese all throughout it, but there would be chunks of cheddar cheese that would just melt a little bit. Oh my goodness, it was so good. And no one else can make it like she makes it, so I miss that because we don't have it. We don't try to fake it with our own version.
Oh, so you don't have the recipe.
Oh my gosh. Years after, my grandmother passed at 96 in 2013, was super close to her. Years after that, she lived with my parents. I found a little book, and it really sweet. She had written down some of those recipes that she just did by hand. The sweet thing, because you think it would just be like, oh, I wish she had done it, but was her hand was a little bit shaky. She always had a beautiful handwriting, but it was a little bit shaky, but you could tell something in her was like, write this down. Don't let this thing go by the wayside. So I hear you, Tony. And we attempted, but nobody can do it like Granny can.
Special touch.
Yeah.
Well, I love me some stuffing, and I see some comments here. People are saying they love stuffing and mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese.
I want to do stuffing different this year. The problem is my kids don't like that trifecta that I know that green the bell pepper and the onion and the celery. Like the kids are like, can we do without the celery and the? So it's just so plain.
Let me ask you a
I love
question.
stuffing too.
Because I think this is, first of all, let me say this about stuffing. I love stuffing, but to me, stuffing's kind of a filler. You know,
they
it's
call
a
it
lot
stuffing.
of bread. Well, yeah, I want macaroni
so
and
good,
cheese.
though.
But
and
underneath the
sweet
turkey?
That's why it's so good, Tony.
I
You just
know.
said bread.
I know, I don't fill up on it, though.
Carbs,
Let me ask a
salt.
question, because I think this is controversial. Green bean casserole, yes or no? I say no.
It's a no for me.
Yeah, I'm not really big on that.
Yeah.
Marley, what did you say? It's
Marley,
a,
our stage manager, no.
Is here. It's a no for us.
Yeah.
But you know what? And I've never tried it in my life either. So I just don't like the thing that goes into it. I know it's sacrilege to say this. People love it.
You know what's interesting is to see everyone spread too, because like in our household, we also have like Korean dishes as well. So it's a Korean and American Thanksgiving.
That's
Like
right.
what, Annie?
We've got the
Name one.
kimchi.
Kimchi.
Okay.
Yep, we've got a variety of kimchi, different types.
Do you use it as like a relish on the side?
Yep.
So
It's
good.
So good.
Sounds so good.
And we have a lot of veggie dishes that are very healthy for you. We've got rice cakes.
Wow.
I
your
mean,
your
you got-
spread must be like
It's
endless.
It's loved. It's very, a lot of TLC goes into it, but we're grateful for it, for sure.
Is anybody afraid of getting stuff too early? I was at the store and I saw 2 big bags of pre-washed and cut greens. And I'm like, let me get this, because there have been years in the past that I have been all over the DMV trying to find, you know what I mean? But like, I feel, is it too early to have gotten them yesterday?
I don't think so.
No.
No, not especially this year.
Right.
I think a lot more people are cooking at home.
Yeah.
And so there could be a short supply on things, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But speaking of too early, is it too early to put up your Christmas tree? Because that kind of happened this weekend.
Typically, I would say yes, but this year, no. Go
Yeah.
for it. Put it up. If it makes you happy, you know, go for it. You did it, right?
I did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm all for it, but do I have to take down my beautiful fall decor that I just
I
put
don't
together
think
for the
so.
first time in my life?
You know
like
what?
I have
I
the
think-
corn stalks and
Just don't
Really?
let
I
it
made,
go.
yeah, I had
really
some
bad.
time I had some time on
Well,
my
that's
hands.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about this briefly before Facebook with Marley as well. Does your Christmas tree have a theme each year, or do you keep your family ornaments and all the ornaments you've collected over the years up there?
Send us your thoughts. Our Christmas, I love our Christmas tree. We have a
Aw.
big Christmas tree every year, and virtually every ornament is different. They all speak to, you know, a lot of them have my son's picture on them from over the years.
Yeah.
I have Beatles ornaments because I'm a big Beatles fan. We have Washington football team ornaments, which I guess we'll have to decide, well, do those go up now?
Get some new ones.
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. I love it.
I love that too, because
Yeah.
it adds so much character and story to the
Yeah.
tree.
Yes.
So I'm a big fan of
Agreed.
that.
How about you guys?
I am too. Yeah, I pretty much keep it the same. Like I try to get a year ornament, you know, like so this year 2020. 2020's ornament this year is going to look like but
It's gonna be broken.
right. But I try to get, that's really the only new thing that I put on. And then if I just see something that's really great, I'll try to add it. But I keep it traditional. But I do
Yeah.
respect people who have multiple trees, and I guess that's what you can do with multiple trees. You can,
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know, but I've got one tree.
So before we go, and I'm so sad we have to go.
Yes.
But first, the Get Up DC newsletter. Just hop
Yeah.
onto our website, WUSA9.com. Sign up for our Get Up DC newsletter. You'll be the first to get all the news, weather, traffic info as soon as you wake up, right to your phone or your email. Second, I just have to spend a moment to say thank you to the people commenting right now, Miss Nicole, Sean, and I just missed the third name because these are flying.
Is it Reggie Reg?
No, but shout out to Reggie for our A&A Dance Factory shirts. The ladies are commenting right now that they just love that we're back together working, and so we just want to say
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you
That's
so
very
much for
nice.
that. That's
Thank
very
you.
kind.
Thank you for watching. Tell your
Yes.
friends. We appreciate. Thanks for interacting with us on this
Yeah.
too. We appreciate that.
Yes,
Too.
and we'll be back on for another Facebook Live, guys, but thanks for joining us today.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And tune in tomorrow morning,
Thanksgiving.
4:25 until 7 a.m.
That's right. Okay, bye-bye now.